1982, and I'm a freshman at the University of New Hampshire. And I'm checking my mail. I don't know why I'm checking my mail. I never get any fucking mail, but I'm checking anyway. So I turn away from my mailbox, head down, disappointed, and I see something on the floor. And I look down, and it's a check. Now I reach down and I take a look at this check, and it's a personal check. And in that moment, I could have done the right thing. I could have returned that check. I, however, chose to do the complete opposite. I stuffed that check inside my notebook, and I go back to my dorm room. I get back to my dorm, and I pull out this check, and I take a look at it. Now, this check is made out to somebody I know. He lives in my dorm. In fact, he lives on my floor. Let's call him Mark, because that's his name. Now, again, I have the opportunity to do the right thing. And again, I do the exact opposite. So something's going on. There are evil forces at the control of my brain. I am making some very bad decisions, and I cannot seem to stop myself. Because in that moment, all I can think of doing is formulating an evil plan to cash Mark's check and take his money. My plan has three components. I need to find out what Mark's handwriting looks like in a signature so I can forge his signature. I need to find out what his bank is, and I need a backstory. Now, in my warped and twisted brain, the logical thing for me to do is to break into his room and get that information. And in that moment, that makes perfect sense. So to break into Mark's room, I need to find out his schedule. So I camp myself downstairs in the first floor of the dorm, and I'm going to take notes. I'm going to capture his comings and goings. Now, I am not a very good note taker in class, but that day, I am the valedictorian of note taking. I am like an evil accountant. I am capturing every move Mark makes, and I find my window of opportunity, literally. I'm going to break into Mark's room through his window. On the third floor of the dorm, it's about a 6-inch ledge. I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to shimmy over. I'm going to open the door, and I'm literally going to break into his room. And when I do, I find everything I need. So I forge his signature on that check, and I walk down to his bank, and I slide that check over to the teller, and she says, I need to see some ID. And I'm thinking, oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. And I say, oh, I was just home this weekend. I left my wallet on the kitchen counter, but I have my checkbook. And she says, that's fine. So she gives me the money, and I walk out of the bank with Mark's money, and I want to look back so badly, because I'm thinking that whole bank is following me. They must know that wasn't Mark. But I don't look back. I just keep walking to my dorm. And I get back to my dorm, and I don't hear from the bank that day. I don't hear from the bank for a week or a month, and I'm thinking, did I just do that? Did I just fool them? So another 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I come back to my dorm room one day, and there's a little note on my dorm room door that says the Durham Police Department is called. They want you to call them. And I know what it's about, so I give them a call. And they want me to come down and answer some questions. So I walk into that police department with all the confidence of a budding sociopath, and I sit down, and I'm like, what do you got? And he says, well, do you know a guy named Mark? I said, yeah, I see him around the dorm. He said, do you bank at a certain bank? I say, no, I don't bank there. And just as I'm about to leave, this police officer reaches into his drawer and he pulls out some photos. These are still photos from a bank surveillance camera, and he lays them out on the desk right in front of me. And in those photos is a young guy with a baseball hat and sunglasses who at one point looks up at the surveillance camera, and the cop says, do you know who that is? And I say, no. And he says, are you absolutely sure? And I say, I'm positive. And I walk out of that police station, and I want to look back, because I'm thinking he's right behind me with a revolver, and the whole squad is, chasing me, and I can't look back, but I so want to look back, but I don't. I just head to my dorm, and I don't hear from the police. I don't hear from them that day, another week, another month, 2 months. I go home for break, and I do not hear from the cops. Did I just pull this off? Did I just fool everyone? I come back to school about 2 weeks later. The phone rings on our dorm floor, and it's for me. And I pick up the phone, and the voice says, Mr. Drew, you have two options. We can come arrest you in your dorm, or you can turn yourself in down at the police department. So I chose door number 2. And I go down to the police department, and I get arrested for a felony forgery. In 1982, anything $100 or more is a felony. And that check, which was a check written from Mark's parents to Mark, was for $100. And so now I have a court date that I have to work through, and I have a university hearing I have to work through, because remember I shimmied through his door. So the court date doesn't go that badly, all things considered. Fined, restitution, and if I keep my record clear for 3 years, I'm clean. The university trial, I get kicked out of school for a semester and barred from living on campus for the rest of my career. Fast forward 3 years and it's graduation day at UNH. I'm actually graduating on time with my class, which is incredible. After graduation, I'm walking across the field and I've got my gown on and my cap in my hand and my proud family next to me. And who do I see walking towards me but Mark? Mark is with his family and he is walking right towards me. And I'm thinking there's no way I'm gonna look at him and there's no way I'm gonna talk to him. And as our paths cross, Mark looks over at me and he says one word to me that absolutely catches me by surprise. He looks at me and he says, "Congratulations." In that moment, Mark absolutely did the right thing. Now that day was the end of my college career and most of my friends were starting jobs and they were focused on that next phase of their life. Me, I was just focused on trying to be a normal person someday. My hope was that someday I might be able to be the person who would do the right thing. That someday I would be a little bit less like me and a little bit more like Mark. Thanks.